70 weeks of Daniel. Daniel chapter 9 verse 24 to 27 gives a specific prophecy concerning the Messiah, which is often referred to as the 70 weeks of Daniel. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make the reconciliation for iniquity and to bring an everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and the prophecy and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the Prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So the prophecy is really about Israel and 2 princes. One is Messiah the Prince in verse 25, who we know as Jesus. The other is the Prince that shall come in verse 26. This prince has been identified with the Roman Prince Titus, who destroyed Jerusalem and the temple in 70 AD. He has also been identified as the Antichrist of prophecy. Understanding the prophecy, there have been many interpretations of these verses, so we shall just look at one as an example. This is based on the interpretation given in chronological aspects of the life of Christ by Harold Herner. The time period we're looking at is 70 weeks. The Hebrew word for week literally means a 7. In the context of the passage means that we are clearly looking at weeks of years. That is, a week signifies 7 years. We see a similar principle in Leviticus 25 verse 8. In prophecy, a year is often a 360-day year. See the section on the 360-day year on the website for more information on this. So, consequently, we are looking at 70 times 7 years of 360 days each. Harold Herner settles on a decree of the Persian king Artaxerxes to Nehemiah in the 20th year of his reign as the starting point for the 70 weeks. See the section on Sir Robert Anderson for more on this, as there are at least 4 possible start dates for the decree. Suffice to say that Herner agrees with Sir Robert that this is the only decree which commands the restoration of both the temple and the city. Unlike Sir Robert, he said that this was in 444 BC rather than 445 BC. Artaxerxes' father Xerxes is thought to have died shortly after December the 17th, 465 BC. The Persians had an accession year system, which meant that Artaxerxes would have acceded to the throne in Nisan 464 BC, as their new year corresponded with Nisan. His first year would have been Nisan 464 to Nisan 463 BC. The 20th year of his reign would have started in 444 BC. If you are interested in exploring this further, Harold Herner explains it in detail in his book. His conclusion is that the report to Nehemiah occurred in Nisan of 444 BC. Therefore, Nisan 444 BC marks the starting point of the 70 weeks of Daniel. Using the same assumption that Sir Robert Anderson used, that the Jewish practice was to date a prophetic period from the first of the month, Harold Herner assumes that the decree should be dated from Nisan 1. Our equivalent date is March the 5th, 444 BC. We now have a start date of March the 5th, 444 BC, and a time period of 70 times 7 years of 360 days each. The prophecy talks about 3 time periods: a 7-week or 49-year period, a 62-week or 434-year period, and a 1-week or a 7-year period. The 7-week period and a 62-week period add up to 69 weeks. After the 69-year period, the Messiah is cut off. If we add 483 years, that's 69 times 7 years, of 360 days each, to our start date of March the 5th, 444 BC. That should bring us to the date of the Messiah's cutting off. 483 prophetic years times 360 days equals 173,880 days. A true solar year is 365.2421989 days. 173,880 days divided by 365.2421989 days equals 476.067662981 solar years. This is approximately 476 years, 24.7134 days, or 476 years and 25 days. March the 5th, 444 BC plus 476 years and 25 days comes to March the 30th, 33 AD. Harold Herner believes this is the date of Christ's entry into Jerusalem on Nisan 10. Another day, in other words, the day when he as the Passover lamb was selected or cut off in preparation to be slaughtered on Nisan 14, the date of the crucifixion. The final week of the prophecy remains unfulfilled. So to summarize in this chart, there's the first 7 weeks, which brings us to 395 BC. That is the first 49 prophetic years of the prophecy. That's followed by another 62 weeks. And that brings us to March the 30th, 33 AD, which is the date of the cutting off of the Messiah. And there remains 1 week, or 7 years, that remains unfulfilled. We don't know the date of that 7 years, but it is generally regarded as being 7 years of the tribulation period, which is still to come. Thank you for listening. If you're interested in this information, you can find more on the Prophecy Workshop website.